everybody, welcome to this episode of Mismatch. So today's guest has lived a life that most people think only exists in the movies. But in actuality, he's lived it in real life. And I honestly like to say he's kind of like a cat because there's like 7 lives or 7 movies within like one epic movie. Anyway, who we have with us today is Taz Garcia. Now, he's an international award-winning actor, director, best-selling author, martial arts champion, former professional athlete, educator, and mentor. That's all. Over the course of an extraordinary career, he shared the screen with icons like Jackie Chan, Sylvester Stallone, John Cena, Sophia Bush, Lauren Holly, and most recently, Alan Ritchson from Amazon Prime's hit series Reacher. But behind the accolades and, of course, action series and red carpets is a story built on passion, on relentless drive, and a willingness to take risks in pursuit of a dream. Today, we're diving into moments that shaped Taz and got him to where he is today. The highs, the setbacks, the lessons learned along the way. We have Taz in studio. Yeah. And the crowd goes wild.
Woo.
Buddy.
What an intro.
Well, when you hear all these things listed out, because I know you're a super humble dude, how does it like make you feel to like reflect on all these things? Because as I said, like you've lived so many lives in this lifetime and you still have so much more to go, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, it just feels like I'm full of it. Feels like full of crap. You know what I mean? But it's really interesting because it's just different chapters of the same book or same life. And then you kind of look back, or when someone else says it, you're like, oh yeah, that's been a while. Holy, yeah, oh yeah, and that too. Wow, that's crazy because you're here in that. Yeah, I mean, again, it could be extremely significant to who I am now, but you don't really look back that often sometimes.
Yeah.
You know?
But I think it's an important reminder to look back because it's like...
See how far you've gone.
Yeah.
Yep.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. You started somewhere. And what's interesting is that your journey, your life did not start in Canada. You grew up in Europe. Yes?
I grew up in Europe. I grew up in the Gulf. So a big chunk of my life when I was a kid, I actually grew up in Qatar. And that was where the last World Cup was. Speaking of the World Cup.
Yeah, speaking of the World Cup, very timely.
That was also one of the biggest wake-up calls for me and shaped me in a way because there was something called the Gulf War that happened. And being around that whole region, there were lockdowns. There was a lot of risk. There was a lot of you staying in was not enough because airplanes were flying above. Obviously, the tech was very different. And you didn't know if you were going to be targeted or if you were going to be close enough to what was targeted. And you were just praying and hoping for the best.
How old were you when you were there?
I want to say 8, 9, somewhere around there.
So young enough to not really know what's going on, but old enough to remember what was going on.
I remember every detail. I remember at 7, they had something called it was a blackout. So what they would do is they would have all the lights turn off because, again, the tech back then for the airplanes, if everything was dark from above, everything looked flat. Whereas if the lights were on, you could identify, that's a tower, that's a building, that's a mall, that's whatever it was that they could have perhaps targeted. And it was a very scary time because, again, like I said, everyone huddles together, everyone hopes for the best. You hear the jet fighters flying above, you see them refuel, reload, because we lived literally 1,000 yards from the airport, so we would see them, but also that tortured us internally because that was our ticket out. That's like, we need to go there to leave this country. But at the same time, we couldn't because anything that was airborne was at risk of getting shot down.
That's
so
terrifying.
It was very terrifying, but also that's kind of how I found hope and I found arts and entertainment to distract and communicate. And that's kind of how the origin story was.
So how did you in those moments kind of find those glimpses of hope and like that creativity to like escape? I imagine like there's escapism in those settings, right?
Yeah. I mean, I grew up watching a lot of movies, and at the time, obviously, you identify certain heroes, and sometimes you could relate to those heroes or escape in those outlets, like the movies, the characters. And
Okay, wait, this is where you name drop one of them or some of them.
I think one of them could have been Superman.
Yeah, of course.
At some point, but actually I never related to Superman at the beginning. That wasn't until later on. Because I was like, well, outsider, this and that. And then later on as I grew up, I was like, okay, similarities maybe. And it was very, very interesting to see how even the elders and the seniors and the parents, a lot of them were collapsing. A lot of them were under pressure because of work, because just a protective instinct to protect their family or do the best to protect their family within their powers, really.
Of course.
And that's when I decided to step up, because I saw fear controlled 90% of the people around me, and I didn't want to succumb to that. I didn't want to just be afraid and crawl into a corner. I didn't blame anyone for doing that. It just wasn't me. And that's when it spiked something in the back of my head. And I said, I want to fight. I want to resist this. I see some of my best friends, they're crying, and some of their families crying. And I see separation, because sometimes whatever attack was happening, you see mom and sister here and dad somewhere else, and then little brother somewhere else. And it's how do you get to each other safely without the risk of getting fired at or something dropping on you from above? And seeing that, that's when I decided I was no one. I'm nobody. I'm just like everyone else. But in the back of my head, I was like, okay, if no one else is going to do it, I'm going to do it. And I started singing, and I started dancing, and I started imitating some of the people around me. And at the beginning, they were like, okay, you got to be serious, because this is serious. So there's no room for you to be a clown. And I was okay with that, because I knew at some point it would hit the way I meant it to hit, which was get laughter out of it. And eventually when
you didn't let it discourage you.
No. And again, that kind of trained me later on for obviously there's judgment and there's rejection and a lot of stuff later on. But that's kind of where I started, because it was from the closest people to you.
I was just going to say, it hurts the most.
Exactly.
Because it's from the people who are the closest to you. Yeah.
For sure, right? And I was like, I get it. I understand it's serious, but it's not a defense mechanism. It was almost a coping mechanism where I said, okay, I needed these people to laugh. If they laughed, if they relaxed, they could probably think better and perform better. That's the way I looked at it. Not to be a class clown, but I really wanted them to have a little break, have a breather. And sure enough, eventually it came through, and eventually I was this entertainment/entertainer of the night, where they would just come to me and they're like, "Okay, cool. So what are you gonna do today?" Right? And literally, it was everything. Like, right? Like I was Donald Duck one day, another day I was imitating our neighbor, another day I was imitating someone else. And obviously, over time, I started imitating the airplanes flying, and the whatever it was, all that kind of stuff. And really, I realized that was such a beautiful way or tool that could be utilized to gather people, create a community, give hope, and communicate in a very non-traditional way.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think especially like fostering that in like a child is really important. And I feel like even now, like that sort of thing gets lost so often, you know? And so the fact that you demonstrated like resilience at such a young age, being like, nope, I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna get you guys.
And I think really that's the thing with anyone that becomes successful. They got to be a little bit of a shit disturber. They got to be a trailblazer. They got to go against the grain. Because for the most part, most of the people are like, okay, well, everyone's doing this. I'm gonna walk here because it's proved to work. There is a proven track record or history or whatever. And I was a guy that's like, oh, it's impossible? Cool, let me try.
Yeah.
Oh, challenge that it can't be done? Watch me.
Yeah.
I was that guy, right?
Who do you think you get that from?
Probably my grandma.
Yeah?
Yeah, probably.
She's like a tough cookie. Like
she is a tough cookie. I grew up around her a lot. I loved her to pieces before she passed. But she also was the person that would stand up for me to say, we're watching a movie, for example, and I don't know, Top Gun, and I was like, sweet, yes. And obviously some of those movies would play at night, and my mom's like, you got to go to sleep, right? And she would stand up first. She's like, come on, but it's like halfway through, come on, let him finish it. And then I'll say, I was like, yes. Right? So that's
push it
exactly right. So I think I got a lot of that kind of resistance and rebellious side from her. And again, she was a female trailblazer. She was a CEO of a company, and she,
Wow.
she was a great role model for me and just for a lot of people.
Wow.
And when I saw that being around there, I was like, okay, this is something I admire. And that's why it's, sometimes you have like females can't do whatever, this and that. Not to touch into any feminism or sex or any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's one of those really where I looked at her and I was like, okay, this is power. It doesn't matter if she's
Female,
what the gender is.
it doesn't matter. You
It's
just saw her for...
I saw that, but obviously later on you identify and you're like, wow, that's like double kudos,
Yeah.
double the points.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I love that you kind of grew up without that separation of like understanding really. And then later in life, you're like, oh, now she had to work even harder, which is
exactly.
really
and that's
cool.
why for me, it's role models, and a role model is a role model. It doesn't matter ethnicity or gender or anything like that, age. You just see something you admire and you're like, oh my God, how'd you get there? Teach me your ways, right? Or take me to the next step, the next level.
Well, it's pretty cool because you've been that for a lot of people. I know.
I'm working on it.
You have been, and I know there's still like a long way to go. But how did your career how did you, I guess at a certain point, realize like, oh wait, like I want to do this for my job. Like I want to do this and make it to, be beside John Cena. Like at what point do you
We're
have
still looking
that
for
moment?
him. We haven't seen him yet. It's pretty interesting because since that story, I wanted to be in front of the camera. I wanted to be in the spotlight. I wanted to entertain, period. And a lot of people saw that. They're like, you've got the energy, the looks, the smile, whatever, go for it, right? But then you had the other counterpart, which is school's more important. That could be a hobby. That could be a pastime, a passion, whatever it was. And for me, I was like, okay, but I really want to do this? But sure, I'm going to give you your school stuff. I'm going to get my bachelor's and diplomas and stuff just in case as a plan C or D. My plan A was to play professional sports, and that's something that I was doing for a while. So when I was a kid, I played for Manchester United and grew up around David Beckham, Scholes, Schmeichel. Those were seniors.
So cool.
Right? And it was again, every spot or every pit stop that I've made, I've picked up a lot of stuff from the people around me. So say, for example, you had David Beckham, right? He was always ready. And that's something that I use to this day, which is I don't wait for me to get an audition. I don't wait for me to get a booking. I don't wait for me to get a call back or for the audition to kind of point at me for me to start getting ready. I always want to be as ready as possible. So when it shows up, when that opportunity comes knocking, that's where a lot of people actually miss out on it because the opportunity literally knocks. It's like, hey, can we go now? You're like, now, but can you come back in like a few hours? Can you come back in a few days, a few weeks or months? No, that's too late. Move on to the next person. And that's some of the work ethic I've taken working around these pro athletes where they were ready. So if they were ready to sub in for somebody, they were ready to perform right away. They weren't like in an off-season shape. They were on. And that's exactly what happened with Bex. When he subbed in for someone, he wasn't a starter, literally subbed in for someone, ended up performing. He was ready. He was locked in, took the shot, became a starter ever since. The world knew him as David Beckham since that.
Wow.
Right? Because he was ready. Not because he's like, oh, today's the day.
Yeah.
Oh, but I'm like at 50% or nope, he was ready. Right? And being around people like that, that's where you take that work ethic. And you're like, that's why these names, even after their prime and their time, they still keep going. They're still relevant. Everyone is familiar with Jackie Chan, or everyone's familiar with Stallone. Everyone's familiar with Beckham and Cristiano Ronaldo. And these people, because they put in work that's undeniable. Sure, you've got your preference of who you like over these people. Great. But we can never strip away the amount of work. And they always showed up. And they were quite often first person there and last person gone. Not like, oh, well, I showed up early, so I'm going to leave early. No, they were there. When everyone packed and left, they were still around.
It's so interesting because a lot of people think that these people are just, they're good, but they're lucky.
They're lucky.
They're really lucky.
Right.
They ended up at the right place at the right time and got lucky. But it's like, no, it couldn't be the furthest from that.
Yeah, I mean, luck plays a certain element.
For sure,
100%.
but it's not the first thing.
Sure. Luck and timing, for sure. But there's no shortcuts to putting in the work.
No. And that's like, that's the same thing with acting and gigs as well. Like anybody's like, oh, breakout star, like they're the new, and like they've been probably working for like a decade before they got one film that like for whatever reason, you know, hit, because you really don't know what's going to be a blockbuster and what isn't. Like
I call it the iceberg, right? Like you see what's above the water, and it's like this tiny piece, and then the big chunk where Rejection and the work and the investment of time and headshots and classes and stunt classes and action classes and shooting your own content and getting your gear and getting your backdrops and all that kind of stuff. People don't see that. They just see when it's like, doop, a blip pops up and they're like, oh man, you're so lucky. I was like, you do not understand.
Right.
You want to see lucky? Here's under the carpet.
Right. Exactly.
Right? Yeah. Exactly. And I actually love that when that happens, especially when I'm working with people that we grew up together or we started together and they stopped. I love the fact where they're like, you know, when you get to Hollywood, don't forget us. I was like, no, I need you, because you're proof that I was grinding and I was hustling and I faced rejection. And there are times I thought of pulling a U-turn or stopping entirely. I need you as proof that it wasn't like he just showed up today and he's out there tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Okay, so hold on. So basically what you're telling me is that you're talented at everything that you do.
If I put my mind to it, honestly, if I put my mind into it, I will probably perform above average.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have it's your work ethic that you have. It's like anything that you touch, you like work really hard at and you're good at it.
And I think there's a certain amount of confidence in being at peace with who you are in a realistic aspect. I think that's really where maybe there could be a disconnect, is sometimes you could have imposter syndrome and that could kind of pull you back.
Yeah.
But with me, I'm like, no, okay, well, we've got this. Let's go. Let's commit. Mm-hmm. Right. And when you're at peace, you perform best. Then if you're kind of shaky, then your base is shaky, your performance is shaky.
Well, people can feel that for sure.
For sure.
Okay. But so you went from soccer, you also played tennis.
Yeah. So I was doing soccer and tennis.
This is what I mean. It just keeps going.
I know. I was doing ATP Tour Juniors with Nick Bollettieri, who passed not long ago. He was the coach to Andre Agassi and Pete Sampras at the time.
Wow.
And so we were doing a lot of academy stuff in Florida, actually. And yeah, that was kind of a career where really it started coming down to you can't be on a soccer field or on a tennis court at the same time. Choose one. And I started leaning more towards tennis because there were talks of me moving to North America, and that was bigger here than soccer was. Mm-hmm. So I started doing that until I moved here, and then I realized that sports were on a very, very different level. And that was the end of my sports
What do you mean on another level?
It was very, very different. Let's just say when I showed up here, and again, this is completely unfiltered, right? When I showed up here, the soccer team barely existed and they didn't have their own home field. It was a shared field with the football team. Mm-hmm. And that was something that was standard in Europe, in Africa, and Asia, that if there was a soccer team, they had a field.
Right.
Not shared with a cricket team or a baseball or anything else. That was their home field as well, where they would host games. The field was real grass. It wasn't turf, right? And again, it's just the whole mindset was very different. It was boys played that sport too. When I showed up here, it was almost like, okay, well, this is fun. But boys played baseball and they played hockey and lacrosse and they did the basketball stuff in football, but it wasn't soccer.
Interesting.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was very new, and I get it because it is new here. It wasn't until some of the athletes retired, like Thierry Henry and David Beckham, started getting into MLS and started coming here to North America. And people are like, oh, cool. These are big names. So I guess dudes can do this too here. But the irony is that in a place like Canada, for example, you've got Asians, Europeans, Africans. You've got such a great South Americans. You've got such a great mix of cultures that really come from soccer backgrounds that we could have the infinite, like, wholesome Avengers, like Galacticos, like team. We have everything we need, but again, it's the facilities and just the money behind it, the funding behind it, and the mindset behind it. It's still very premature. Yeah. So I'm hoping after, say, FIFAs and the World Cups and stuff like that, it will blow up. And the same thing with tennis.
I think it is. I think the culture has changed a lot.
For sure. For sure, right?
Slowly, with every generation, it is,
yeah,
right?
I mean, but again, that's the thing. So the future is going to have it, but when we started, it just didn't exist. Same with tennis.
Got it.
The Rogers Cups and all like that, York University State, the center courts and stuff, they were not there.
Yeah.
They didn't have those.
Yeah, most people were in Florida. I remember even a friend of mine, she was a competitive tennis player. And she like moved there because that was where like the cream of the crop went to train and
and that's what I mean, right? Like we don't lack the talent, we don't lack the ambition or the hunger. It's just sometimes that's what happens. People want it and they're hungry and they're like, okay, to level up, I can't be here. I got to leave. And that's why they really got to start providing the facilities here to keep the homebodies here. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? The natural home talent here.
It's so funny. I just saw something on Instagram the other day and it was like Stanley Cup captains of like all the years and most of them being Canadian. Mm-hmm. And like obviously majority of them play for American teams. And it's so sad. And the parallel with, I feel, the acting world and even musicians is a lot of the same thing of so many people making it so far here and then having to cross the border to like get to that next level.
It's like you hit this buff or you hit this cap real quick. Yeah. You're like, okay, it's a level up. Or for me to be taken seriously, or for me to make a career out of this, I got to jump. I got to go. And that's in a way, it's kind of sad and it sucks because you want to be here and you want to continue growth here. But you're like, but I also want to grow. I don't want to feel like a day player all the time if I'm going to pay my bills using this. So you move somewhere else, right?
What is your advice to someone considering that right now?
I would say just finish your zones, finish your levels, right? Don't grow here way too fast. Kind of finish as much as you can here, build your foundation, your base here. And when you feel that's it, you've completed this level, this stage, then you can level up and go somewhere else. And there are tons of opportunities.
I was just going to say that you're the perfect person to talk about all the opportunities that do exist here. If you're thinking of considering, jumping, because you've made your whole life around it. Like, and what I admire about you, Taz, is that you've created a lot of the opportunities that you've been given. You've thought completely outside the box to be like, this doesn't exist, so I'm going to create it and do it myself.
Yep. And I brought some of that, again, the pro athlete kind of foundation, right? Where I knew if I was good, but they had a team established already. They had that chemistry. They had a very well-oiled and functioning machine. So to bring me in could have just been that kink they didn't want. Yeah. So it had nothing to do with me or my skills. It's just, where do we put this guy? Yeah. Because we already have people playing in XYZ positions. So when it came to acting, it was the same thing. Once I signed up with an agency, I got it. And they were like, you'll get maybe an audition or two every 3 to 6 months. Wow. I was like, holy. And we're talking a time when we had to print stuff in an open face envelope and go and hand it to people because email wasn't even a thing.
There was no video submission.
Oh, there was online stuff that was on Kijiji and whatnot, but that was all shady stuff that you would end up in someone's basement. I was like, right. It wasn't as open and readily available as it is now, right? So that was fun because I've been down that path too. And I was like, that's not the audition that was listed on Craigslist. But crazy. But anyways, that's you hear certain things like that and you're like, but I want it now. I want it now. That's when I started writing my stuff. I was a very creative kid. I wrote a bunch of stuff when I was younger and I was like, okay, I'm sure I could still do that now. And I wrote stuff. I didn't know anything about filmmaking except for camera and actors and action and let's go. Got my friends, told them the truth. I don't know crap about this, but I know a little. And let's learn and grow together. Yeah. And sure enough, we did the first one and faced tons of resistance. Film students and friends and family, and everyone's like, oh, well, if it was so easy, everyone would have done it. What's so special about you? I was like, I'm used to this. Like, bullets just bouncing off, ricocheting. And really, that's when stuff started picking up for me, ironically. But also, I started finding my tribe and the people that wanted to put in the work. And if I was directing something and they came to act in it, they directed something, I was acting in their stuff. And we started this whole collaborative process.
That's really
cool.
Which
was really, really cool. But also I learned very quick that audio is so important, right? Because we focused on cameras and lenses and then we went to edit and we watched the stuff and we're like, what are they saying again? Can you pump the volume up? And then the next thing is like, oh my God, no. Oh, it blew my eardrum. Right. So for the second one, it was way smoother in terms of planning. and we focus on audio, way more important than video, in my opinion. And it just got better and better and better. And we started doing film festivals. We started going around the world. It started popping up on IMDb. And all of a sudden, bigger agents started getting in touch with me. Who are you? What are you doing? How are you doing this? I got awards in LA and Vegas and outside of here. So when I came back, people were like, oh, sweet, you're Toronto? What? Come in for an interview. And from there, literally, the ripple effect started. And that essentially, in a way, was me not waiting to be chosen or an opportunity landing on my lap. I really said, okay, do I know how to drive? No, but I think the best way to learn is to drive. And that's what I did. Really, taking action is the best thing, because a lot of people just stay in the theory world.
Right.
So it's all theoretical, I think. But if we do, and this is how, and if we, great, now put it to action, let it blow up. And now
Yeah,
that
learn.
blew up in my face. Next time, don't do that.
But sometimes that's like the best way to learn.
For sure. Hands-on.
You can read all the things, but yeah, actually trying it out for yourself. You'll never make the same mistake twice when you actually do it.
Exactly. Right. Every time you fall, you get up, you're like, that sucked.
Yeah.
And you know what to look for the next time. Right. And people see you fall and they learn. Right. And they learn with you, and you kind of get better and stronger and faster and wiser, and it gets easier for you as you go along. And it's just so beautiful to be part of the journey all the way through.
One of the things that you like I know you do all different kinds of film and television, but one thing that you specialize in is like martial arts and stunts.
What?
So how the heck did you get into that action world, and like what was that transition like for you? Because that's also like very specific and niche, and it also has changed and gotten so crazy good in the last even the last decade, I would say.
So that's very interesting. While I was doing tennis and soccer, I was a huge fan. So I started watching Bruce Lee's and Jackie Chan's and Van Damme's and all that kind of stuff. And that
they seemingly all rhyme, which is great too.
Right? Exactly. But honestly, that's where it stayed for a while.
Yeah.
Up until a good friend of mine was bullied. And I had asked my parents just once, like in passing, I was like, hey, you know what? Why don't I take a martial arts class?
Interesting.
And my parents were like, no. And I said, why? And they're like, well, you're energetic as it is. So if you learn how to kick and punch, you're probably going to do that in school, get in trouble, get kicked out. We don't want that. And I was like, fair. But in the back of my head, I was like, I'm going to revisit this down the line at some point. And sure enough, a friend of mine was getting bullied during lunch, and I helped him out. And then I came back with the story, and I was like, guys, listen, so-and-so got bullied. I helped him out. And I think I would have done so much better. It would have been so much safer. That was my pitch to them.
Yeah.
Had I learned how to do it the right way, right? Because, this was a little too close, but I wasn't going to see him get beat up, right? So sure enough, they started thinking. And while it was nice and hot, I also remembered a small, maybe 3-4 moves from a Jackie Chan movie, another maybe 10 moves from Power Rangers. And I put it all together. Literally, they were both sitting down on the couch in front of me. And I started doing this little form for them. Like I knew what I was doing. Like, okay, so here's the deal. You can choose whatever martial art you want, but the second we hear you're in trouble because of martial arts, you've kicked someone, you've punched someone in the head, whatever, even playing, that's it, game over.
Fair.
And I was like, absolutely, done, thank you, thumbs up. And I haven't stopped ever since. So that's over 30 years ago.
Wow.
Right? And again, moving forward, I just stayed with it. I bounced through different styles. I started with Taekwondo, got into karate. From karate, got into Greco wrestling and boxing. Did Wing Chun and animal style kung fu. Did capoeira for a while. Did kickboxing for a bit, and parkour and gymnastics. So there was really a combination of a lot of things. And then when one of my biggest auditions back in the early 2000s was for the Power Rangers. And that was the first time I ever thought, I could use martial arts for this audition. Before that, I really, my foundation was in comedy and drama. But I looked at martial arts as like a secret life, just like with my sports. It was never, like if you do dance, you're dancing, you're a comp season, you're doing whatever, and then the next day you're back Monday class.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like very different lives. And that's exactly how it was for me. So I was in Kumite, fighting, doing whatever, taking down awards. Cool, great. Next day I was sitting in a classroom, like normal.
Yeah, but also you were a teacher.
Yeah, but
at
that's
one point.
later.
Okay,
But I'm
okay.
saying like student years here, right? So that's
Another job, yet
another one,
like, chapter.
another one, right? Literally. So that was kind of the martial arts journey for me, and then that was the first time I actually kind of crossed the worlds together. Where I
How
was like,
cool.
cool, nice, yes, and it's something I watched growing up, so this really hit home. And then I got a call back from them. I got the script. They're like, Taz, you're the ranger. That's it. You're in. And I was like, oh, yes.
So cool.
Amazing. Everything good. Told my teachers. It was second year of college. I was like, guys, see you later, suckers. I'm going to be making so much money. Peace.
Yeah.
Right? They had my passport because they needed to get me a work permit so we could go and film because it's outside of the country. And sure enough, when I went to pick it up, I got my first stab in the heart, and they're like, Taz, unfortunately, we decided to recast you.
Oh.
I was like, what? But plans and script and like, yeah, you're the wrong ethnicity for this Power Ranger.
You're kidding.
Mm-mm.
Stop.
Because at the time, the earlier seasons, it was Black Ranger is black, yellow is Asian, et cetera, et cetera. So it was almost
Right.
color codes to the ethnicities. And when I auditioned, I was darker. They thought I was one thing. When I went to pick it up, I was lighter. And that was the
Wow.
biggest probably stab in the heart. Up until this day, I still have the script because it's a personal win for me. But that also changed my life because before that, I never thought of doing action until that audition. So they took me to the side and they said, listen, we know it sucks, but the way you moved in there for this audition is something we've never really seen a lot of people do. So why don't you consider doing more action while you're still young and your body could still move that way?
Yeah.
And when you can't do that anymore, you could just go back to your dialogue. And I was like, perfect. Ding, that light bulb. And ever
Yeah.
since, that's when I pivoted into action. And ever since, I automatically became known as the action guy. Oh, he does stunts. I was like, no, I don't. I do action, but I act. They're like, oh, you don't? That's weird. But you kick and flip. And I was like, I get it.
Yeah.
So it's very foreign because that jump going that way, like most actors won't kick or flip or do
Right,
whatever.
right.
That's very associated with martial arts, acro, parkour, or the stunt world, right? But they didn't realize that people could do that. You could be an actor that knows how to dance or sing.
Yeah.
Doesn't make you a singer. It doesn't make you a dancer.
Right.
You are an actor that knows how to sing or can dance.
Right.
But it was very different at the time. Didn't know really how to brand me. So it became very action guy. Navy, military, Marines, mercenary. It was all these roles. If you had a script that was a rom-com, it's like, Taz, you know what? I really want to work with you, but it's not action. So when I have an action one, I'll get in touch.
Was that tough then?
It
Because you were
was,
kind of like
because suddenly I went
pigeonholed
from
into that. Yeah.
freaking like
Yeah.
boxed in something. I was like, but
Yeah.
I could. They're like, but you do it so well. Just stay in that box for a little longer, right? So it kind of sucked. It was a blessing in a way, but again, I was like, okay, let's optimize this box, finish this level, and then I can kind of cross to a different bridge. And sure enough, I actually had to rebrand myself, write some stuff for myself, film the stuff myself, because no one was casting me as a
Yeah.
Hallmark dude.
Isn't it crazy that like when people see you in a certain way, that's like all they see? And it's so frustrating. I mean, I can relate on like a different level, but feeling like this is the only thing that you can do,
Yep.
and anything outside is like we can't see you any other
Yep.
way.
Yep.
And imagine like so many artists feel like that too.
For sure.
And actors especially, if you're like this is the one movie that everyone knows and sees you for, then that's all the only roles that you're going to do.
Yep.
And then you're extra judged and criticized when you do step outside. But
Yep.
even though you've done that since forever,
For
you
sure.
know?
For sure. And it's literally, I was like, allow me to reintroduce myself.
Yeah.
And I literally popped out of the box, wrote some stuff, and there was no action. They're like, holy crap, I never knew you could do this. Because everyone was so locked in and focused that I kick and I use guns and I do whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I actually did this way before that stuff. But somehow I fell into this box, but also falling into that box, that's how I worked with legends and icons that I admired so much, like the Jackie Chans, the Stallones. And
Yeah.
I was like, this is a blessing. And I remember one of my first naysayers was my dad. And I was like, watch, Dad. So
Yeah.
I remember specifically the first time I watched Jackie Chan, I came in from tennis practice and he was sitting down. TV was 45 degrees from him. He was watching Jackie. It was one of the earlier movies, Fearless Hyena. And I was like, who's that? He's moving like a monkey. And he's like, yeah, you know, the level of fitness he's got to have to be able to jump. And I was like, that's crazy. You know what? I'm going to train to be like this guy. One day I'm going to work with him. And he just laughed it off. Like, you know, it's kind of like, he's like, yeah, okay, whatever,
okay, kid, keep dreaming.
Exactly. Yeah. And then when I sent him a selfie with Jackie that one time, it was like silence, crickets, right? Same thing with Rambo when we watched it the first time. And I was like, we're talking about physique because obviously the 80s are all the square jaw, all
my dad's favorite Rambo,
lots of muscles, all that kind of stuff. I was like, sweet. So you have this kind of scrawny tennis player, aka me, that's looking at this. I was like, I could be like that. He's like, I was like, what? Thanks for believing.
Yeah.
Right.
But maybe that's like what you needed. Like, you know what I mean?
Again, if you haven't noticed, I love the challenge. Yeah. I love the fuel. I was like, oh, really? Oh, can be done.
Yeah.
Hold my beer. Right. And sure enough, that's been a great fuel for me personally. Right. And anyone watching this, literally, you're going to face rejection. And quite often that rejection could be used as fuel, just like fear could be used as fuel. Mm-hmm. For the most part, you could take it to heart and it kind of disables you, or the encouragement just goes, it's like this flame that's out. Mm-hmm. No, use it to fuel it even more and get that fire burning. Yeah. 10x and just go.
I love that.
Right?
Now you've worked, as you said, like with all these like legends. Who is someone that stands out to you that you like admired watching or learning and like being in the presence of?
I want to say Jackie.
Yeah.
Jackie.
I mean, I remember seeing Jackie Chan for the first time, like watching with my brother because he was really obsessed with him. And it was just like remarkable the things that he could do. And I can't even imagine, you know, being like that diehard fan and then being able to like say it to his face and like working alongside and learning from, you know, that's like,
I mean, definitely when I met him, because we had a few scenes together. We were actually filming in Asia, and he is usually called Big Brother. So when he's around, they don't say Jackie. They just call him Big Brother. Very martial artsy.
Yeah.
And when I got to meet him the first time, inside of me, the kid inside was like,
freaking out.
But inside I was like, hey, Jackie. He's like, okay. Right? I was like, nice. He's like, great. What are we doing? But also the stuff that I've learned. Again, we were talking about always being ready. Mm-hmm. He's pushing late 60s, 70s. And again, he will put a lot of 18-year-olds to shame.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because he keeps moving. That's the thing. Like you start getting old when you, honestly.
When you stop
moving, that's when your machine just starts going rusty and clunkier and slower. And to be around him, seeing him just drop and do push-ups, for example. Or again, you work in Hollywood, everyone's doing a certain job, which I get. Don't touch the lights because that's electricity, a different department. You could burn yourself, a liability. I understand. But again, being at that level where he could literally lift a finger and you have 5 to 10 people show up. Yes, Big Brother, what do you need? You need a helicopter? What color? Within half an hour, zero exaggeration, true story.
That's wild.
You'll have 10 different helicopters with 10 different blades on it and rotors. You're going to have 10 different colors. A Black Hawk, you're going to have a freaking news style. You're going to have a police style. And all of a sudden, it's like, I like this one. Right?
Wow.
With different pilots, different systems and styles. So he has that power. But it's amazing to see it's going to rain. We're doing an exterior shot. He's the first guy to stand on top of the catering table, pulling a tarp. And it doesn't matter who's on the other side. He's like, hey, you, pull tarp. Right? Why? Because if it gets wet, that's our food.
Yeah.
And he's leading by example.
No.
Whereas you're around so many other people, they're like, no, I'm in my trailer. It's not my thing.
Yeah.
Right? So genuinely being around someone like that, you really start to admire how much filmmaking is a team sport. Mm. But it's not always that case. Sometimes it's very segregated. Oh, union? There. Non-union? Here. Oh, star? There. Don't make eye contact with this other people. Yeah, but we're humans. Don't even walk their path. Right? Go get your food at a different time. So with him, he was the guy going around. Again, he can get whatever dish or meal he wants. So this is a funny story. digression for a second. So he shows up a little late and he's all like stiff in the morning. He's walking funny out of his trailer. We're all sitting on these mini stools. He sits right next to me, exactly where you're sitting. And he gets a very Cantonese dish, which is a little bit of veggies, a little bit of noodles, a little bit of meat, and a broth.
Okay.
And he's sitting there. Sure enough, he gets it. It's ready. And then he starts scooping some of the spicy oil into it.
Okay.
And he tries, but it hadn't mixed yet. So he adds a little bit more, hadn't mixed yet. Eventually, the bowl turns like lava. The soup base, the broth looks like lava. Okay. So he sits down. He tries the first one. He's like, add some more. He's like,
no.
A little bit more. And there's a, so spicy, right? And he's in there. He's like, that's it. He's not going to have it.
Yeah.
Okay. So sure enough, he stands up. He's not going to throw that bowl anymore, but someone's got to eat it.
Yeah.
Right? Because he's not that kind. He will not waste it.
Yeah.
Right? And he looks at the person that made the dish and she's like, no, big brother, it's yours. I can't touch it. It's disrespect. Goes around, comes to me. I was like, no, I'm good. I had my eggs and toast or whatever. I'm good. Long story short, it goes around. And John Cena's double was there, Spencer. And he's like, I was like, dude, let's just eat it so we get filming. Right? And then he's like, dude, I'm down. And we go paper, rock, scissors.
Stop.
I do this. He does that. I lose. I'm like,
oh
no. I was like, Jackie, I'll take it. He's like, are you sure? It's spicy. I was like, mm-hmm. He's like, okay. And he comes, he stands right next to me here.
No pressure.
Puts the bowl right in front of me. He's like, don't you dare waste it. Essentially, that's the unspoken vibe I'm getting from him. Sure enough, I go the first one. Goes down. I was like, oh my God.
You're like, I'm going to be running to the toilet
my
for the
nose
rest of the
immediately
day.
started running. My ears were fuming. My mouth was just, I was like,
jeez.
I don't know what's happening. Oh, my lips are here. Yep. Okay, cool. We're still here. He's like, spicy? I was like, no. I was like, no. He's like, okay, good. He sits right next to me, gets another bowl, exactly the same, less spicy this time.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, he's eating. He's like, not so spicy. I'm eating. I was like,
really spicy. Yeah.
And then he gets a little bit of like preserved veggies that he added to it for extra flavor. And he was like, yeah, put the fire out. It's like, I don't even want to know what's going to happen later, but this sucks. And I found this way where I just held the noodle and all the oil kind of went back into the broth and I ate it. And so I found a little hack in a way and I was glad he wasn't like, okay, just like down the broth. But so it's a lot of fun. But again, to see someone like that or the bottles, he's like, okay, with a Sharpie, he'll put number 12, number 8, number 7. Whereas here, if you're filming, you leave, you come back, you're like, which one's mine? Oh, I don't know. I'll just get a new one.
That's so funny.
Right? He's like, he doesn't know names. He's like, 8, 11, 3, right?
That's so funny.
Right? And he's going around like everyone's grandpa and he's just like, oh, this is good for you. This tangerine peel skin is good for you. Like, or like have some soup. It's good. You've been here for a while. Or the guy's doing action and stunts. They're so sorry. He's like, here you go. Here's Advil literally in his hand, right? So it's so amazing to be around people like that. But you see why they've earned where they are, the respect, but also double freaking amazing because at their age, they proved everything. Mm-hmm. Everyone knows their name.
Yeah.
But they're still doing the same thing like it's day one.
That's very cool.
Jackie doesn't need to save a bowl of noodles. He could just get 10 more within seconds.
Right.
Right? He doesn't need to be on the table to pull a tarp. Or
that's principles and values.
100%. Or here's another one that's crazy is we're filming outside in a desert, so we have water coolers with ice cubes to keep everything cold. When it melted, it was him. He'd take that, empty the melted ice into a water dispenser to use it to wash your hands.
Wow.
He was doing that.
No waste.
Like that's the kind of guy he is.
Wow.
Right? So seeing that, you're like, holy crap. One, if I am anywhere under 40, no complaints.
Yeah.
Right? At the time. And then afterwards, it's very different because you see he's a team player. He's ready. Oh, what's the holdup? oh, we're looking for a guy that's so far away to come to move the piece of tape from here to there. There.
Yeah, he's like,
can we film now?
he'll get his hands dirty.
Yeah,
and, like,
there's a
involved.
can on the floor.
Yeah.
Oh, no, don't touch it, big brother. He's like, it's just a can. Here, can we film now?
No ego. Yeah, that's it.
So when you're around
really
people
cool.
like that and you see others, the youngins that have a little bit of ego, I'm
Yeah.
like, dude.
Get it together.
I call it the little puppy syndrome.
Yeah.
Where it's like you have the little mini chihuahua that's barking and the German shepherd just walking. And it's like, you've got your shoes, buddy.
Yeah.
Right? So,
Totally.
yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Now you touched on it a little bit, like during these film days and the roles that you're playing, it's pretty taxing stuff. Like it's like a lot on your body, like not only mentally, again, with all the things that you're downloading in your brain and remembering, but it's also like taxing on your body. How do you take care of both? And like, again, because you've had also a very long career and it's continuing, and that's a testament to how you take care of yourself.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it comes down to the passion. That's the thing. When you're passionate about something, you enjoy it. Time does not exist, right? Like, I'm pretty sure all of us can relate to having so much fun, and all of a sudden you're like, what? It's 8 already, right? But it feels like I just got here. It's because you love it so much. So you're not counting the hours. You're not counting how long it's been. And that's why we'll do 12 hours one place, get on a plane, fly for another 10 hours, 45-minute drive to the set, film for 16 hours, do that backwards, get on a plane, fly back, because obviously you could be on one set.
Yeah.
And that clock time, or that timer starts when you get there. And then when you get on somebody else's set, that timer starts for them. They're not like, oh, well, you were here,
Right.
so
They don't care.
we're
Yeah.
only going to give you 2 hours, right? No, they're like, okay, well, you played here, you got to play here too.
That's
Right?
crazy.
And really, it's the passion. That's why people that try, if they're not passionate or they're in it for different reasons, like, oh, I just want red carpets. I just want this. I just want the clout and the fame. It's like, you can. If you're in it for the money, good luck, at least at the beginning, right? Because it takes a lot and a lot and a lot to make something out of it, right? And really, that's kind of the hack, is when you're passionate about something, you're going to love it, right? It's not about the money. It's not about this. The question really is, would you still be doing this if there's no money involved, no fame
Yeah.
involved?
Yeah.
If the answer is yes, you're doing something you love.
Right. Yeah, that is a
Right?
good question to ask yourself.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And sure, it's taxing because you'll fly between different time zones. It's taxing on relationships, like friends or significant others,
For
because
sure.
sometimes you don't see them months at a time,
Right.
right? Or you get there, they're passed out, and then by the time they wake up, you're like, gotta go,
Yeah.
right? Or friends, you can't make arrangements with them because, hey, so can we do dinner at 7? I was like, I don't know. It says we're wrapping at 7.
But probably not. Yeah.
No, they
totally.
push through to 11.
Yeah.
Right. So you can come off even flaky looking to some regular people that
Yeah.
have,
That don't understand it.
For sure. Right. So it is very taxing. And that's really part of the decision you make getting into this.
Now, also something that I can't even imagine. It's one thing to do one take, like a scene, 10 times where you have to cry. Yes, that's really hard, for sure. Emotionally, to like pull that out, it's exhausting.
Yeah.
I get that. But when you're doing like crazy stunts and like action, that's also like a whole other thing to do. Like, okay, do it again, do it again, do it again, do it this way, do it higher. Like you are an athlete in that way. Like what's the most amount it takes, and like what did you have to do?
I think one of the most recent ones was actually on Reacher.
Yeah.
And it was fighting Reacher. So Alan Ritchson, he plays Reacher, and it was taking a hit, boom, to the chest, right? And he's a big boy, right?
Yeah.
He's a big boy. And sure enough, it was, cold outside too, so that didn't help. And it was one of those where sometimes it looked great, sometimes the camera missed it. So like, can we go again? And I'm like, can we not go again? Are you sure you're going to get it this time? Because if not, we don't have to do the hit,
Yeah.
right? And it was one of those things where, again, it's a team sport. So you want to do one for the team, for example. And it's just I want to say maybe we did it 20 times that I took that hit.
Oh my God. And you're actually getting hit?
Oh, yeah, that was a real hit.
Really?
That was a nice real hit.
So how do they decide whether something is a real hit or not a real hit?
So I think a huge part of it, again, I mean, not to get technical, but sometimes when you have stunt teams that work together for a very long time, there's a certain amount of trust established. And they
For
know,
sure.
okay, you okay to take a hit, or you okay to deliver the hit? And you know exactly, all right, I'm going to give you 50%. Because the average person may hit, but they don't know how much power is going behind it. Right. So when we were doing rehearsals and previews for the shoot in the scene, it was one of those things where we established contact was going to happen. And we're like, okay, cool. It's going to happen this way. And are you good with it? Yes. Are you good with it? Cool. Let's go. And on the day, again, everyone was very professional. They're like, you're cool to take it. Cool. You're cool. Yeah. Okay. Let's go. And that's the way it was. It was literally printing what we copied and pasted the day before.
Yeah. That's wild.
It is. And it makes a great story, right?
Yeah. I mean, there aren't too many jobs that you can say that you can do that or experience that. And I think it's also really cool to learn your own strength in that way too, because a lot of people never get the opportunity to really understand that, and to be able to control that is probably really challenging as well.
It is.
That takes like years to understand that.
It is. And even then, that hit originally wasn't my hit. It was somebody else's hit. Not to get into specifics, I ended up switching with the person, and I ended up taking that hit instead. And sure enough, they looked at me, they're like, you're cool? I was like, yeah, I'm cool. But last time I took a hit like that was 20 years ago.
Wow.
So it was a challenge, internal challenge to me, where it's like, can I still take this and not pass out?
Yeah.
Can I still take this and not break a bone? Can I take this and do it a few more times?
Yeah.
Let's go. You know, it's like not adrenaline junkie, but part of me was challenging me. I was like, let's see.
You have to have that mindset.
For sure. And I think that's one of the reasons why, for me personally, when it comes to action, it comes to a stunt or anything extreme outside, I like to push myself. It's like, where's the fear? Where's the line?
Yeah.
Where am I really scared? Because I don't scare easy. But I was like,
Yeah.
where is it where I feel the butterfly effect in my tummy? Maybe I need to go there.
You're a little cuckoo like me. Like I have that.
Yeah.
I have a couple screws missing in that sense.
But that's the
Because
fun,
I like
though.
to do like adventurous things, and people always say like, why would you? I'm like,
For sure.
Because I like pushing myself to that
For sure.
point. Like,
For sure.
you know?
For sure. And then there's always the why? And then afterwards, they're like, oh my God, how?
Yeah.
Or, oh, that's so cool. You're so lucky. I was like,
Yeah.
well, you could have done it, but you didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So, right. And there's also a very interesting part of you feeling very alive when you kind of cross that. It's like a very fine line where you cross and you're like, I'm alive for a split second or a few moments, like skydiving. You're like,
Yeah.
right?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I always say that's the greatest thing I've ever done.
Skydive?
Yeah.
Nice.
There's nothing like more exhilarating than that.
Yeah.
But it also, like, there was a sense of peace. There was perspective. Like, you feel like outside your body almost. It's wild.
Yeah. And in a way, I feel like it's almost like a nice reset, because I feel like a lot of people pursue control. It's always like, I want to be in control. I want to have a schedule. I want to schedule this. I want to schedule a vacation
the human brain
itinerary.
Is neurologically
you
functioned
want to have some kind of grip on something, but
because control equals safety.
Right, exactly. It's very predictable. But for me, I like spontaneity, and at the same time, when you jump, you're like, this is what it feels like to let go.
Yeah,
and it's way larger than you.
Totally.
And then when you land, you're like, okay, I'm back in control, back to my regular life. Yay, cool. For that split second, it's just gone.
Yeah.
It's just like you're in a void.
Free.
Yeah.
In a film setting, what's like the craziest thing you've ever done, would you say? For the shot. For the scene.
Well, actually, instead of saying that, I'm going to say, I think the craziest thing that I had to or witnessed on set would actually be, they hired someone, get ready for crazy, to move the rain away.
Move the rain away? How do you move the rain away?
Like, I understand energy, and I understand there's telekinesis, and I understand there's a lot of power, like with chi and ki and energies and flow and such. But I've never, ever witnessed something like this happen on set.
Stop it right now. Someone is like looking at the sky and being like,
No, it's not. It's not like
rain.
Doctor Strange,
Okay.
but it's very much a literally. So the story, I was at my hotel. Assistant shows up. She says, "Taz, we're gonna film." In Malaysia, it's torrential rain. I couldn't even see my hand literally this far away if I stuck it
Monsoon,
outside. Yeah, for sure. And there's videos of it that I post on social media. We get in the car, half the tire is underwater. That's how much water is on the streets. And I was like, Avery, are you sure we're going to get? She's like, yeah, on this side, da. Cool. We drive. The set is going from here to like that store right across from us, the Walmart. Zero rain. Zero.
You're kidding.
It looked like it rained the day before. So a few puddles here and there. And they were just using brooms to kind of stretch it out and spray it. But I was
for context, that's like a couple 100 meters kind of thing.
Yes. And I was like, what?
That's insane.
Turning around, literally, it looked like the Mario Kart cloud. It looked like the cloud stayed there.
Yeah.
And it looked like it was here. Nothing. Long story short, we end up filming. I asked,
but that's
what the hell
someone's
is
job to be like, we need
Literally.
to find the crack where there is no rain.
Yes, but it ended up, so that's when I asked. And I was like, I know there's, we're going to say some kind of black magic, whatever.
Sure.
Right? It exists. Whatever. And I really didn't believe it up until we wrapped. So my assistant told me, and AD told me, assistant director told me what the director did. Still in the back of my head, and a few of my co-stars, we were just very skeptical.
Yeah.
Until we saw the transaction happen when we wrapped, because we were shooting the final exterior shot. We had that open space just for that day, so we can come back and finish off tomorrow. Literally paid the guy in cash. The guy got in a van. As he drove off, the black cloud started.
Stop.
Going, literally, like it was on cue.
So like
it was
I did
a
my
special
job,
effect.
now the cloud can come back.
Literally. As he drove, the car drove this way, and the cloud followed. And poor guys, because we were shooting a scene that was going to be on an aircraft carrier, so they cheated it with those containers. And they had green screens on and everything, and everyone that was tearing down got poured on.
Oh my God.
And we have footage to prove the whole thing. And had I not been there,
you wouldn't believe it.
I wouldn't have believed it, right? So there's a lot of crazy stuff that happens on set sometimes. We're filming a scene with two girls, and the mic picked up a voice of a dude. And all of us kind of, because when you're editing, you see the waves.
Yeah.
And we saw it, like, what is this? Amplify the audio? We're like, it's a dude. And the dude literally said he deserved it. And all of us thought we're all messing with each other. We're like, but all the dudes were holding completely different area. Camera was a female. Everyone around that time were females.
That's weird.
And they were talking about a dude that dies. And then we found out afterward that area, that location was a prisoner of war camp.
Stop.
Literally.
I have
insane.
goosebumps.
Insane. And the mic picked it up. And literally it said he deserved it. We still tried, like we went outside, we were like, say that line, say that line, say that line.
To try and figure out where
maybe there
the
was a
voice
mic
came
that was
from.
connected where the holding was.
There was a hot mic.
So it's insane. So, I mean, there's a lot of fun stuff like that happens on set.
That's wild.
Yep.
That's very cool.
Yep.
Okay, you have a million things going on. What do you have going on right now?
Right now, I have an awesome show that's in pre-production. It's a game show / contestants show. Picture American Gladiator meets Physical 100. So it's going to be a lot of fun, very martial arts specific. So stay tuned for that.
Super cool.
And I'm doing a quick book tour as well.
Tell me about, you have 3 books we have on the table here. Okay, let's talk about this one first.
Dun, dun, dun.
Zero to Hero,
Yes.
The Art of Action on Film.
So that book was my second book for a lot of the filmmakers and performers during the pandemic, where some of them wanted to pivot into action, understand more the action genre, and if it meant they needed to learn real fighting or if they could cheat it in terms of, performance for screen. And sure enough, they realized that dancers do much better on-screen fighting than real fighters, because real fighters, they want to optimize, they want to advance, They want to submit, they want to finish the round faster. And the techniques, for example, the hand is here. Maybe you want to cheat it a little lower so we see the face. But also we cover misconceptions like stunts. Most people think stunts equals John Wick, Expendables, Avengers. But I was like, Home Alone. Home Alone is a funny family movie.
Falling down the stairs is an art.
All the booby traps, all the stuff that was happening to the bad guys.
For sure.
But it's not an action movie. But suddenly there's a shift that happens in the mind when you understand, ooh, okay, cool. Right. We talk about guns. We talk about gear. We talk about safety and how you could capture it. So there's a bit of everything, whether you're a performer or a creator in that book.
That's very, very cool. And I feel like a lot of people could use this. Okay, we also have, grabbing this over here, how to make, how to make
it from a
from a no to WOA budget.
Yes.
Okay, tell me about this. This is a different side and perspective.
Yes. So this was my first book during the pandemic when a lot of people were ready to quit. And I said, hold on a second. Well, you have a phone, so you have no excuses. Because when I started off, we needed a camera, we needed special connections, we needed a computer that was strong enough that wasn't going to break on us or lag.
Yeah.
And literally with one device, you could shoot, you could edit, you could upload for the world to see.
Yeah.
But also you could rebrand yourself. So if you're known as the nurse or the mom and you wanted to do an assassin or a cop, here's how you could shoot it. Here's how you could light it. Here's how you could shoot a concept that you could use to pitch for investors, for example. Here's my do's and my don'ts. Here's how I almost got arrested for doing stuff with no permit. And here's a story, but also here's a few things that you could make sure you could set up. Or for example, if you're planning something on a very low budget, see what you have direct access to, maybe a friend's cafe or basement, and write your script around it. So you work it backwards instead of writing it and then trying to find a location.
So interesting. That's so helpful.
Exactly. So really that's kind of like a blueprint, and you could hop between chapters, and really you could use it as you wish.
That's so clever, because a lot of people, again, like, don't know this unless you've lived this. This is like the lived experience of how to get around certain things or like know how to pivot or where to start from.
Exactly. That's how I was able to get an agent. That's how I was able to put myself out there. My first IMDb credits, working with Jackie Chan, Stallone, I didn't have an agent. Literally, the blueprint is in there.
Wow. Gold right here. And then the other book that we have over here is, and this we dropped, you talked about it early on, The Ripple Effect.
The Ripple Effect. Yes.
Tell me about this.
So this is a book that really, really talks about the baby steps. If you want to be rich, if you want to start a business, if you want to make your first movie, relationships, whatever it is, it all works around communication, openness, actionable steps, and not just thinking and hoping for it to happen. Because that's kind of the misconception with manifestation that makes it very woo-woo.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah, everyone
says
that.
Think it, live
you
it,
say it,
your body is going to happen.
Happens.
I was like,
yeah.
That's possibly part of it, but also you need to take action to make it happen.
Yeah.
And this took a while to write because I didn't just want it to be about me. I spoke to Olympians. I spoke to people that were looking to get their first apartment, someone that was looking to do, their first movie or whatever it is. And I was like, how did you manifest it? And we talk about if you're an antenna and you're around the wrong people, it kind of, it decreases the reception of your antenna. But if you find the tribe that suits you best, positive, they're like, yes, this can be done. You amplify your antenna and all of a sudden you attract that a lot faster, right? And you take baby steps. The baby steps equals baby ripples that turn into a wave in the end,
there you
right?
go.
So you could use it really for anything you want in life. And again, it's broken down in simple chapters that people can follow. And we're working on the ebook version now and the audiobook version now.
Very cool. Are you doing your own audiobook?
I am,
Very cool.
Yeah, a lot of people are like, just use AI. I was like,
no, you have the voice. Why wouldn't you?
I'll do it.
100% you should be
I'll see how
doing
many
it.
people I could put to sleep.
That's
in
not
the next
true.
chapter.
That's not true.
Hopefully they they listen to it when they're at home, not driving, so they don't fall asleep at the wheel.
That is not true at all. These are really great. And again, I think a lot of like the missed mark on this concept of manifestation is that it's like, I don't know what to do. Now I've read all this stuff and I say it, but how do I actually put it into action? And I think that's a testament to like life. And as you said, you being even like an action movie star. Like, you know what I mean? It's so funny how your life has been so like full circle and complementary to all the amazing chapters, pun intended, of your life so far.
Yeah, really. And it's kind of cool to see everything come together, whether it was my teaching, whether it was marketing or sales or acting or martial arts or tennis or soccer, everything kind of meets and merges into this one melting pot, and it all helps. It really does, right? It's not like, oh, I'm never going to use this again. No,
Right.
You use it, right? You use it always.
Sometimes you just don't always realize because you're
For
not
sure.
looking back, as we said again from the beginning of this conversation. You don't always
Yeah.
look back to realize like, oh, that thing that I did as a kid actually helped me do
Yep.
this today.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so excited to see what you continue to do and
Yes.
create. And yeah, we're working on something fun together.
Yes.
So that'll be cool.
Yes.
I won't say anything now.
Well, I mean, if you want to drop a little hint, you can go for it.
I mean, we'll keep it there. We'll keep it mysterious for everybody to find out. because
Yes.
It's going to be exciting. I'm
Yes.
really excited.
We're going to be shooting this fall. It's going to be super exciting.
Yes.
And it's something that I don't think the world's ever seen before. So it's going to be really, really fun.
Yeah. I
Yes.
mean, and we're fun. So.
Yes, 100%. I mean, who wouldn't want to watch us, right?
Right? Come on now. Taz, plug yourself so people can listen to you, follow you, and perhaps, ask you questions, because I'm sure there's going to be a lot more. This is just like, we just touched on certain things today.
Yeah, I mean, listen, guys, just hit me up at Taz Garcia Official or tazitogarcia.com. That's all my socials. That's my official website. You guys, please drop by. Don't be shy. If you have my contact, stop by, drop me a question, drop me a DM, say hi, introduce yourself. And if you need help, let me know, leave me a comment, because now Instagram does this weird thing where it goes straight to my filter. So I'm not
Yeah.
ignoring you.
Yeah.
Easier to leave me a comment. And if I could help, I absolutely will do my best to try and help or point you the right direction.
And the thing is he's not just saying that, like he actually does do that. Like you have helped so many people. I know so many people go to you asking questions. How do I do this? Where do I go? And you're so helpful. And so I know you actually mean that when you say that.
True story from the heart.
Yeah, it is. It is for real.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
This is it. It's done.
I know. No, we'll do this again. We're going to do this again 100%.
Yes.
And plug, okay, so what season, hold on, that we can watch you in and reach your, is it season 3?
Season 3.
Yeah. Okay.
Season 3.
Fantastic.
So I'm not going to tell you which episode.
No, you got to tune into the
entire
entire
you got to watch the whole
season.
thing.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
season 4 is already wrapped, and that's going to be coming out soon. So
Wow. Super cool. Cheering
Yeah.
you on always. And
Yes.
excited for what's coming down the pipeline.
I can't wait.